above.
Yes, indeedy. Roy and Kitty here at Bulldog Trading, 3 p.m. Let's get it.
So what
Let's
is
get it.
going on, Rock? Is the
Ay, ay,
GameStop
ay.
buzz still buzzing?
Oh, it's
Or did we
buzzing.
die down already off of that?
I think it's buzzing still. I think we're still buzzing a little bit. Now it's kind of cool. I guess like it buzzed so much. However, already in pre-market it's been doing interesting things. So let me bring the minute chart up here so we can look at it a little bit. Yeah, so we had the initial kind of coming back down in the morning, and once it hit 185, she's been coming up pretty good since then. Right now, it's still in a little bit of a little bit of cooling, but it's still right in the middle of the Bollinger Bands. So I don't know.
Crazy
How
to
do
me
you?
that Ryan Cohen hasn't tweeted about this.
He might be waiting.
He
Maybe.
might. He might. It's I mean, I think it's good any way you look at it, but it's just weird. It's weird who it was put out by. It's weird that he didn't address it first, that he let it come out the way that it did.
Mm. So how are you feeling on it overall?
I like it. I jumped on here for just a few minutes last night when this was going on because there was and I think there still is a little confusion about the amount of shares and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up hanging out with the boy last night. I wanted to look into it to see past filings because this is the thing. So there's 73 million outstanding shares. But apparently they have the right to offer up to 300 million already.
Mm-hmm.
So that's already done, and they're looking to raise that 300 million to $1 billion. So just basic math tells you if they're doing that for the split, it has to be more than a 4-to-1 split, or else they'd already have the authorization to do it, because that would only bring it to 292 million or so.
Okay.
So if they're looking at $1 billion, you could be looking anywhere from a 10 to a 13 to I believe like the highest it would be like a 14-to-1 split if they raise the amount of shares all the way to $1 billion, and then if they
Jeez.
made those all actually available.
Could you imagine a 14-to-1 split?
Yeah, I mean they have to be looking to do a bigger split, or that, like I said, they would already have the authorization if that's the case. But I know
Mm.
people were confused immediately, because they're putting out these numbers. They want to increase the available shares from 300,000 or 300 million to $1 billion, and everybody's looking at the available shares and saying, "Well, wait a minute. There's only 73 million shares available now." So
Now,
that could be something that was in play before any of us even invested in GameStop. That could have been, the right to add those shares. And at least they're not doing it in an offering, and at least they haven't done this the whole time. And if this all holds out to be true, I think it shows tremendous strength because, you remember Adam Aaron with the talk of having to get a vote if they were to add more shares, if they were to dilute the stock anymore. GameStop obviously hasn't had to do that. They've already had the right. They could dilute it 4 times over if they wanted to, if this is true, if there are really 300 million available shares. You know what I mean? And the fact that they didn't do it even during the run-ups says a lot about the company. Says a lot that there was no cash grabs involved.
yeah.
So,
Yep. I think it says a lot of strength about the company for sure. I think it's overall pretty cool news. I like it.
yeah,
You
great.
know.
And it was reminiscent of the NFT news that came out after hours that didn't come out through GameStop a few months ago when GME and AMC ran up in the after hours. And I think it's the same situation. It was great news. The way it was delivered, though, it could have been underhanded. They could have got their hands on that information and tried to control the narrative. You know what I mean? They could have pushed that out as far as the hedgies and stuff. I don't put anything past them. They could have beat Ryan Cohen to the punch on that.
So, have you heard much about as we're talking, I'm trying to find this one thing that I wanted to bring to this discussion with you, and you're kind of reaching on it now, and it's a good time to talk about it. Have you heard about this? I guess the stock split being a form of dividend of GameStop,
Yes.
right? Um, and then what that would do to short sellers? Have you heard this? Of
Yeah.
some
I don't.
research on that?
I yeah, I can't grasp the split as being done as a dividend. That part confuses me a little bit. Um,
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and it says short sellers now responsible to pay the dividend to the person they borrowed the share from. So if a stock split is a form of dividend, would that mean that the seller would have to come up with however many shares then it's split into? You know, uh, do they have to come up with the extra? Is that what that's saying?
I guess in theory, yeah. Um,
Yeah, which means to, in my opinion, almost is like that would be very scary news for a short seller. Like,
yeah,
oh
you
my
you would think
gosh,
so.
right? Uh, so it could be even more adding to that, exiting of their positions. Could to try and get out of it before um, the split. Hey, Birdie's sharing some interesting news with that GME stock split. So I'm going to
Oh,
read up
nice.
on that one for sure after this so I can firmly get my head around it. Short seller gets paid the dividend and owes it to the person they borrowed the share from. Right, right. Okay. So at least that
So
second
then,
part we had right. Okay.
yeah, but what happens to the people that didn't borrow the share from anybody? What happens to the naked shorts? Who do they have to pay when the shares didn't come from anywhere to begin with?
Yeah, but those things don't exist, right?
Allegedly, allegedly.
Allegedly. Hey,
But you would
Birdie.
you would think that there would only be a set amount of dividends paid out that would equal to the actual amount of shares, and that's where they get caught,
Oh.
right?
Interesting. It's almost like highlighting what the real shares are in a way, you know?
Yeah, I mean this is what we've called for over a year from AMC and GameStop. You know, I mean, do a dividend. You know, Adam Aaron's addressed it time and time again. His AMC situation's a little bit different,
Mhm.
so they're not able to do that yet. But I don't know, man. It's like I said yesterday. I had faith in Ryan Cohen when all I knew about the guy was what he did with Chewy. You know, over a year ago when I invested in GME, I had faith in him, and he said right off the bat that he wasn't going to be putting everything in the forefront of what he's doing. And I think that's both as far as GameStop, the company, is concerned, and I think as far as his battles with the SEC, I think he's fighting harder than anybody knows, and I think this is just another step in the process. And I think I could be 100% wrong about that, but you got to put your faith in something, and you know what? I got faith in Ryan Cohen.
Absolutely. I mean, they do some really interesting, like, big brained, wrinkly brain thoughts of how to make it happen. And so far, it's been really interesting ride watching this occur. You know, business thoughts that I wouldn't have seen coming and that they've been doing and stuff and reading between the lines and things like that, I think are awesome.
Yeah, and I like that Ryan Cohen now is kind of going after not just the hedge funds, but also the consulting firms that help drive these companies into the ground.
Right? He is
And
on
he
that.
continues to put his money where his mouth is. You know what I mean?
He
What he's
does.
trying to do with Bed Bath and Beyond, very similar to GameStop. And I think he sees a situation where a company can still be profitable if done the right way. And we'll see. At first I was a little bit suspect of the Bed Bath and Beyond thing, but I like that he still shows focus on GameStop. Again, he's not the CEO of GameStop, so he doesn't have to make those everyday decisions. You know what I mean? He's the
Mhm.
chairman of the board. And Zeta, I think, I don't want to be FUD man at all because trust me, I'm more excited about this split than anybody. I just look at the way that it was reported, had some red flags for me. But
Mm. Well, that's an interesting take on it, MIA, and I really, I like that thought. So that's a cool thought. Uh, that is raising little red flags and just how it was reported and stuff. So that's interesting. But also, yeah, also just in general, wild times, and I'm glad to be here with you guys. And this is the point in the show where I'm going to be handing my camera over to the one and only amazing MIA and thanking you guys for being here with me. If you guys have been here the past 2 hours or so, you've been watching the segment of our show called Rock in the Morning. And I am ROC for Bulldog Trading. And I'm now handing over the camera and show to MIA, who is amazing, and my brother on there. And I'm going to do it now. Waving to you all. Thank you guys. And I am out.